This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour.
Supported by Albertsons
and
Omni Hotels and Resorts.
Brought to you by
Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Choose VA. Veterans get the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Now, your hosts, Danny Sarek and Brad Sham.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being with us on the Cowboy Hour. Thank you very much. Happy Monday. Thank you all for being here. And yes, that is a live studio audience wherever we go, and there are people, it becomes a studio. You are a studio audience. And yes, we are available for public consumption this year in a return to semi-normal. The Cowboy Hour will come to you Ford Center at the Star, where it's air-conditioned and well-lit and a perfect setting for our guests. And we look forward to having many of you come. You won't always get as many family and friends of guests as we have tonight, but we welcome the family of the great Blake Jarwin. Nice to have all of you here. I usually wait for a commercial or something to tell people what we have been talking about, to bring them like a little peek behind the curtain. I'm just going to tell you that the last conversation we were having before we went on the air involved the cheese fries at Eskimo Joe's in Stillwater, where one person up here matriculated. And
talk about off-air manages to find its way on air, no matter how embarrassing or self-deprecating it might be, thinking maybe there's like a silent understanding that Brad's not going to share everything that I talk about off-air, but quickly forgotten about that.
And in fact, you know that I actually do keep some things to the side.
Yeah, which tells everyone what exactly we talk about if it doesn't make air, considering the things.
You guys do not catch a break in terms of getting any rhythm or momentum or anything like that, do you?
No, it's been kind of crazy so far with our 8-day preseason weeks, and then now this kind of schedule. We got 3 days off, and then we really won't find routine until pretty much after the bye week, and then we're headed into the Thursday games.
After the bye week. Now, wait, you've got Sunday, Monday night, then you've got Sunday.
So then you're finally
and
reaching
Sunday.
Routine, yeah.
So that's not quite the bye week.
Right. But, I guess you'll go Sunday into a Monday.
Right. And then into a Sunday, but at least both of those are at home. Business of routine. So you came back together today. Mm-hmm. Were you actually together or were you virtual? Because for those of you who haven't heard, Zach Martin and Brandon Knight are off the COVID list. And Randy Gregory's on it. Ooh. So, yeah. Heels. So were you meeting live and in person today?
Yes, we were here. We were mostly in individual meetings. We did do a little bit together, but not too much. Still trying to make sure we take the precautions to where we're not spreading it, hopefully to anybody, but hopefully also minimizing the opportunity to spread it.
Last year, and of course, here's another thing we talked about before we went on the air. So Danny came on at mid-season last year, and her first in your living room, or
pretty fresh off some crutches, I think. I was somewhere down there in a corner.
Not in the room with us.
No, good. No, heaven forfend. But were you at home or were you in the building?
I was in the building, yeah. Kind of where our player entrance is now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think your hair was a lot longer, wasn't it? You were thinking about cutting it.
Yeah, it was. And now I'm still in that same phase. Like, do I grow it out?
But
Do I
it's
cut
not,
it?
it's
a
not
daily
nearly as long. It's not nearly as long. But on the other hand, you do have to fit it into a helmet now, which was not an issue at that point. But at any rate, so that was the case last year. And now, so you're together, and there is some contact, and it's very limited and well controlled. I'm wondering if the COVID business, their protocols and blah, blah, blah. So now, you didn't I think you had like 4 guys miss games, something like that, 5 all year.
Right.
Well, it's a different story now, as we're seeing. And I'm just wondering if you're finding it more of a distraction than you thought it would be, something to deal with. How's that working?
Yeah, maybe not necessarily a distraction, but something that we have to work through as a team. Make sure that we're taking proper precaution, in the building as well as outside of the building, and making sure that we're putting ourselves in a good spot to where we're available for Sundays. And also just, keeping each other protected. So it is definitely, not the easiest thing to get around, but we're doing a good job, I think, as a team.
And by the way, those of you who hopefully will come join us one or more Monday nights throughout the year, except for immediate family and staff, that's why people who come to the show, we can have you here and are delighted to be able to have you here. And we can't have you line up and sign autographs and that kind of thing, because that's still a COVID thing. So it's still kind of with us. But how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Physically, I feel great. Definitely things I'm still working through, just finding my body again, and but definitely just gaining confidence day in and day out, and pushing forward.
It's an interesting way to put it, finding your body again. What is it that you're looking for?
Yeah, just trusting it, I guess, in certain things that you do, whether it be a cut or whether you're blocking somebody, and making sure that you still have the power, which it is there. You just have to, I think, convince yourself that everything's okay. And I've done I've made tremendous strides throughout camp, and it's just going to continue to get better.
At what point throughout the off season did you make a cut, or you were doing a route and you realized, okay, I'm back, I can do this? Because you're coming off that knee surgery, right? You missed all of last season. Mm-hmm. So at what point in the off season did you realize, okay, I'm good, I got this?
Yeah, it was about probably 2 or 3 weeks before we got going for training camp, and Dak was out here throwing with a few guys, and I went out there and just started running around. I was like, look, I'm going to let it loose. So when I get to training camp, I feel okay, and I feel like I can go do that stuff. And at that moment, it was kind of like, okay, you're good, you can do these things, and you've set a good foundation. Now it's time to build off this.
My recollection was you had never had anything like that injury.
Right.
So can you explain for people who have never had to go through it, especially as a competitive athlete, the difference between, yes, I am aware that I am healthy enough to do that now, the difference between that and not even thinking about it and just going and doing stuff, knowing that you fully trust your leg and your back and all the rest?
Yeah, I think that I think Britt's done a great job with me of kind of building my confidence back throughout the off season. Like I said, trying to find how I move again and trust myself enough to do these things. And I'd say that confidence plays a big piece of it. I've had a lot of reps, and I'm still not to where I want to be yet with everything, but I'm getting much better day in and day out. And they're putting me in positions where I'm not necessarily thinking about my body anymore. I'm thinking about what's going on the field, and I think that's definitely helping me.
Emotionally or mentally, did stepping out onto the field Thursday night feel any different or a little extra special?
Yeah, it was just for a second, the emotional aspect of it, being back. I've had a lot of good people get me back to where I am today. So those people, without them, I wouldn't be here right now, and I'm grateful for that. But it was definitely a kind of a surreal moment at first, and it was time to get going.
Have you ever been at SoFi Stadium?
Yeah, that's where.
Yes, I know. I
Headed
know.
back now.
Since you went to emotionally and all of that, I mean, will you have some of the? I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I'm being that guy. Do you think you'll? Will it just be a football field?
I think it'll
Sunday?
be a football field. Yeah, I'm excited to go back actually, and kind of conquer that demon, I guess, in a sense.
Oh, so there is a demon to conquer.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, but I'm not really too worried about it. Like I said, I feel well. My body's performing really good. My mind's where it needs to be, so I'm excited about it.
Well, you probably feel like that stadium owes you a day, at least a day, right?
Yeah, maybe so.
When we talked to you at this point, like October last year, you were still early on in that recovery process and working through all of that. So now that you're on the other side of it, what did you learn about yourself, either personally or what you've put towards what you do on the field now?
Yeah, how much you really come to appreciate this game and what it means to you. It's a big part of who I am, obviously. I've done it for so long. Without it, you kind of do have to find yourself. Who are you outside of football? And I've had a great support system kind of help me along and find meaning off the field. But also just how much I wanted to be here with the guys, the team, the camaraderie, the competition of the game that I've missed so much. And, it's incredible to be back. I've got so much to learn and so much to improve on, but it's been awesome to be back.
I don't mean this to be quite as wiseacre as it sounds. I've actually been thinking a lot about it myself. Who are you away from football?
Yeah,
right now, at this point in your life. Yeah.
I'm a son to my two parents. I'm a brother to my brother Garrett, husband to my wife Peyton.
By the way, Peyton's on the edge of her seat listening to the answer to this question.
Yeah, no doubt. I hope to be a mentor to a lot of young kids who have aspirations to reaching their dreams, fulfilling their dreams. A person who can be there and help you push to be your better self.
You mentioned your wife real quick. You guys got married in the off season. I know she's here, but how is married life treating you?
Oh, it's been great.
She's listening.
She's looking right at me.
She's more than listening, Danny.
Yeah,
Come on.
Right.
That's one of those.
Appreciate
you can't.
That up for you right there.
Yeah, come on. Does his dress make me look fat? No, come on.
No.
You can't ask a man that question.
I know
with
you
his
were
wife
very excited when we were talking to you at that point last year. I remember you were deciding whether or not you wanted to cut your hair or leave it long for the wedding.
Mm-hmm. We ended up cutting it. I cut the hair off. That was a big discussion we had. But no, it's been great. She's incredible. She's someone who kind of helps me. In dark times, she's there to kind of just listen to me vent. Whatever it may be about, but she's there for me and supports me, and I appreciate that.
We are excited and delighted to have Blake Jarwin as our guest on the Cowboys Hour this evening, and we want to say a special hello to everyone listening, wherever you're listening, around the Dallas Cowboys radio network. And these little black boxes are cameras that are recording this digitally for DallasCowboys.com. It'll be on the website. You can watch it whenever. So, hi everybody. Happy Monday. We are going to take a quick break, come right back, but first we want to remind you that when at game day, when you wear your Cowboys jersey, Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Lucchese, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. We'll be right back with Blake Jarwin on the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour.
Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
Welcome back to the Star, to the Ford Center at the Star at Frisco, Texas on the Cowboys Hour. Brad Sham, Danny Surek, and our special guest, Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin. I actually had some, Danny's just beautiful in a picture of fashion wherever she goes, whatever she wears. I had some trepidations about wearing these little socks that you can't see with these deck shoes until I saw Mr. Jarwin, who kind of halfway talked himself into pants and shoes. It's not a TV show after all, even though there's a camera. It's here for radio. And by the way, there's going to be magically, as if by magic, right behind the black cord, right in the middle of the room there, a microphone is going to appear later for those of you sitting on that side of it to ask questions of Blake later on. That it seemed to me, maybe I just was paying attention differently, that you tight ends were spending more time after practice than I had seen you before working on the jugs gun, and you and Dalton Schultz especially seemed to spend a lot of time catching dozens of balls at close range and different angles and things. Was that my imagination, or was that new?
No, that's new. I think that Dalton kind of picked that up last year after my injury. And then we kind of just picked it up where he left off at the beginning of training camp. We were actually out here today doing the same thing after everybody had left. It's just kind of something that we want to make sure that we're ready when our opportunity comes to us, and make sure that we're there for the team. So we're going to do everything we can, take the extra 10, the extra 20 minutes after practice to just make sure that we're good.
At different distances or different speeds, or how does that work?
Yeah, speeds, distances, angles, kind of every kind of just weird – maybe something that doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe that's what you focus on that day, right? Or something that you've had trouble with. So we've just kind of done that and made it part of our routine.
How many of those do you take every day?
Probably over 100. We watched a video in training camp about Tony Gonzalez, and he talks about how he had a year where he had a lot of drop passes. He said, well, I'm going to make a point, and I'm going to get in early to practice and catch 100 balls. I'm going to stay after practice and catch 100 balls. And so we've kind of taken that and said, hey, look, we're going to make that part of our own routine. I'm so fascinated by your saying that because there were a couple of drops in the game. I don't think I've ever seen you drop one. Maybe you have, but I don't remember it. And I think I've seen every game you've played. And I asked a guy who has played professional football the other day, how does someone who's a good athlete, who's a good receiver, who occasionally has that issue, how do you work on that? And the answer that he gave me was, you just practice catching the ball a lot. Would you agree with that? Absolutely, yeah. The repetition of it, feeling the catch, like I said, feeling the different angles, the different speeds, getting comfortable being uncomfortable sometimes. And as a pass catcher, sometimes we go through, phases where maybe we're just not in tune to where we need to be. And so sometimes you just have to work your way through it. And that's kind of the approach we take.
Last year with the injury due to COVID protocols, you weren't really allowed to be in the building or in the tight end room. It would have all been virtual if you were reaching out to your teammates or anything like that. What has the dynamic been like now that you are back in that room? It's
been incredible. Obviously, I've got a great relationship with Dalton and our coach, Lunda Wells. He's done a great job of just kind of helping me feel at home again in the room. And the respect we all have for each other in that room is awesome. And then it's also a tight room, right? We don't have very many guys, so we get to know each other really well. And I think that's the best part about it. The chemistry we have in that room is awesome, and we push each other to be better every day. And I think it's awesome. We're building each other to be better day in and day out.
Can we talk about a couple of other guys in the room? McEwen is one that fans don't know very much, but he had a great camp. And everyone was looking forward to him being back in there. He's hurt. He'll be back at some point. But what do you see in his development? Does he remind you of you at all?
Yeah, Sean's got a great work ethic. Man, I love to see him play. I think he did make huge strides in camp, and he was prepared for camp. Unfortunately, he's had an ankle deal to work through, but he'll be back, and we're excited to have him in the room and excited to have him back on the field with us. He's an incredible player. He brings a lot to the table for us. He's young and he's full of energy, and contributes a lot on special teams as well. So
and he's a really good receiver, and he was an undrafted free agent.
Right.
And stop me
Right.
if it's getting near anything you see when you look in the mirror. I mean, do you see any of yourself in him?
absolutely. Like he may, I think he's a great young guy to have in the room, and he's been a good part of our my thing just went quiet. Is that supposed to be like that?
Your headset did?
No, I'm good. Sorry,
Okay.
kind of threw me off. But no, I see a lot of myself in Sean. But I see a guy who's willing to do what he needs to do to make plays and be a part of this offense, and I'm excited to get him back.
And the other guy that intrigues me is Jeremy Sprinkle, we saw him in Washington for several years, but not an old guy. He's like 5 years. What skill set does he bring?
Sprinkle, he's even keel. He comes in and he works every day. He never complains. He's a yes sir kind of guy. He'll do what he needs to do to contribute to our team, to our offense, to special teams, whatever it may be. And he's been an awesome part of our tight end room, our dynamic, great personality, the guys that we want in the room, honestly. So he's been great to have.
You touched on Coach Wells a bit, who's in his second year, right, under head coach Mike McCarthy and part of that staff. I'm curious to know specifically what he's done to help elevate your game, especially this season so far, or this offseason since you were hurt last year. What has he done to help you?
Yeah, he's pulled me into his office a few times, and we just talked about things, whether it be something on the field or off the field, or, hey, Blake, how's it going, man? How you feeling? How's your body feel? How's your mind? Where you at with everything, and also just on the field, he understands what we do well as just individuals, and also what we need to work on. And I've got a long list of things I need to work on. But he's like, Blake, hey, look, let's take it day by day. Let's get better at one or two things, and then let's remember this is a long journey that we're on together. And man, he's been awesome. He's always got a positive attitude, and he's a great leader for us.
What do you think's on your list of things you need to work on?
Obviously blocking's been one thing that I've always had an emphasis on, and I'm going to continue to work on that first level and definitely second level now. I've had a play that happened the other night that it's just not who I am as a player, so I'm out to prove that now and to put that behind me.
Okay, stop there for just a second. When something like that happens, I maybe should ask your wife this. When something like that happens, how long does it take you to let that go?
I guess it depends on the situation. That one bothers me because I need to do better for my teammates, right? I need to give Zeke a chance to make a big play there and to help our offense. And so that's why that one eats at me. It's behind me now, but it'll always be a part of how I'm going to become a better football player. And so you learn from that stuff. You get better from that kind of thing. It's you never want it, but it's it's part of the game. You learn and you move on. Okay, blocking first level, second level, next on the list? Yeah, just continue to push myself to understand defenses, to understand how they're trying to, play against us and what teams want to do against us. We're a very explosive offense, and we've got so many pieces that can, make a big play at any moment. So what are teams trying to do to us at all times, and, just how do we exploit that?
Y'all went toe-to-toe rather with the reigning Super Bowl champs. Close game, held your own. What did you learn about the offense in that game? Yeah, we made a lot of good plays. We've got so many weapons on our team, and we all want to be successful, and we don't care who has the ball in their hands. We want to see us score points and help the team and obviously get the win at the end of the day. And that didn't happen, but we did have a lot of good stuff come out of it. We'll be better for it. I think that as an offense, we want to improve, in the red zone. We didn't really perform and produce like we think we should have, so that'll be an emphasis, obviously, for me, and make sure I do my part to help us succeed in that area. The one thing that made me chuckle in terms of just watching it and anticipating what's coming for the next 16 weeks, there was more pre-snap motion and stuff. It looked like a hockey line change half the time. 3 guys going here, you stop here, motion, set, back to – more than you used to do, right? Yeah. Kellen has thrown in a lot more. Kellen does a great job of, and we knew that was going to be an emphasis for us going into training camp, that we were going to do a lot of motions and movements pre-snap. And just gives us a good look of what the defense is doing, and maybe we have leverage on somebody or, a certain look, and take advantage of it and exploit that area. So here, I was wondering about this during camp, listening to Mike McCarthy talk about that kind of thing and being deceptive, and I was specifically thinking about some of the skill sets that you and Tony Pollard have.
So you have some skills that are not necessarily traditional tight end skills. Pollard was worked at wide receiver some, but you might not be a tight end, or he might not be a running back just because he's wearing 20 and lining up in the backfield, or just because you're off the tackle's hip and wearing a tight end. You might not be a tight end. Am I at all?
No, you're right. That's kind of very versatile kind of offense we have with all our players. And Tony, man, you could line him up anywhere, and they better cover him because he's so explosive and he's fun to watch. And I think that's a great part of how we approach the game, how we game plan things. Just try to keep defenses on their toes, and if they're going to give us certain looks, we're going to take advantage of it.
All right, now when we come back, we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of this fierce Jarwin-Schultz rivalry that is threatening to rip this team apart. It's just a joke, friends. It's just a joke.
Cowboys fans, we need you to apply to become the NFL Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. Go to Dallas Cowboys social platforms and fill out the application explaining why you love the Cowboys. The winner gets tickets to this year's Super Bowl. Go to Dallas Cowboys social platforms to apply. The Miller Lite Cowboys Hour is brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Omni Frisco. At Omni Frisco Hotel, kick off your stay at the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys with style. Cool off in the elevated pool, savor upscale comfort food at neighborhood services, and enjoy all the dining and entertainment options the Star has to offer. Visit omnihotels.com/Frisco to learn more and turn the next home game into a weekend getaway.
And we'll be right back with Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin on the Cowboys Hour.
Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
Brad Sham and Danny Sarek and our very special guest, Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin, tonight on the Cowboys Hour. We're at the Ford Center at the Star. Yes, you may applaud Blake Jarwin robustly, even if you're related to him or live near him, or that's still you could applaud him and make him feel good. Okay, so you and Dalton really are that good of friends, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
And now you went from being the guy in the room.
Right.
But when do you go back to being the guy in the room again?
We'll leave that for another day. I have no problem.
No, this is the day you're here. We're going to do it. Now is a really good day.
I've got no problem, splitting reps with a guy like that. Works his tail off. Obviously, had, like you said, a great year last year. Proved himself to be a great tight end in this league, to be productive. And a guy who's smart, man. That guy's smart, and he's played a lot of football now, and he's got a good experience behind him. So to split reps with that guy, I have no problem with. Like you said, we're great friends. We have great chemistry. I think the best part about us is we love to push each other to be better. We're very competitive with each other, and I think that's going to pay huge dividends as we move forward.
Have you guys gone into Kellen Moore's office and begged for more 12 personnel?
We haven't exactly done that, but we've done things close. We've used our tight ends coach, Coach Wells, to do that for us in a way, I guess.
So you have, and I'm guessing it's not begging. I'm guessing it's Lunda. Make sure he knows how good we are when we're both on the field.
Yeah.
More along that line?
Exactly. Well, Coach Wells will ask, like, hey, what do you guys want this week, or what do you guys think is, could be a big part of our game plan? And we're like, well, here's exactly what we need. We need 12 personnel.
We need a lot of 12. Do you, especially with the year that Dalton had this year and coupled with your complete physical recovery, have you looked at some of the teams, you just played one, who are 2 or 3 deep at that position and say, hey, look, here's how we could maybe do some of this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we have the right mindset to make this kind of situation work. We just want to be productive for the offense and for the team, really. That's the ultimate goal, is to make sure that we take care of opportunities and we're there when we need to be there. And so whatever is asked of us, that's what we're going to do.
Besides what you've seen from Dalton and how he's grown on the field, he's no longer a rookie anymore. You've been in the room with him for a couple of years. How have you seen him grow as a leader, especially coming back this year when you weren't able to be in the room last year and he stepped up in that role?
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job. Just overall, I think he's found confidence in himself. He plays with swagger on the field. He understands the game. He understands the game plan. He understands our opponent also. And like I say, he just does a great job overall. And I think that it's awesome that me and him get to sit in a room together and just play the game of football together.
Is he still the player rep?
He is, yes.
He's the representative of the players to the NFL Players Association. Mm-hmm. Would that be a job you'd like to have?
No, not at all. He was trying to give it away the other day. I was like, nope, sorry, man.
How did he? No player wants to be that. How did he come to be the player rep? Did he seek that job?
I think he was an alternative, and I'm trying to remember who our rep was before him. I think it was Byron Jones, and then when Byron left, he just kind of fell right into the position.
So was he the alternate to Byron?
Yes.
And in this era where it seems to me like we're back to COVID again, the union and the league are negotiating on an ongoing basis about things, little daily things that the public never sees. Mm-hmm. Does that drive him nuts?
Yeah, it's definitely just another thing he has to kind of deal with. He does a great job of not letting that become a distraction, but he's also on top of it, and he wants to make sure that we're abiding by all the rules and doing what we need to do and to make sure that we're safe and take care of the rules set in place by the NFL and the NFLPA.
As you guys continue to, work through the season and sharing reps and all of that, because you are such close friends, is there any part of you that's like, oh, maybe I don't want as many reps for myself, like I want to share them with Dalton? Or does that ever kind of blur the line there?
No, I don't think so. I know Coach Wells will do a great job of just putting us in, and ultimately it's him that we're looking at on the sideline trying to figure out who's in, and we have certain plays for each of us throughout the week, and things that one of us does well or the other one's done a good job on lately, and and anytime we're both on the field, that's a plus, right? So it's honestly, it's a great dynamic. Like I said, we've got great chemistry, so when we're out there together, it's a lot of fun, and it's good to be back with them.
This team you're playing Sunday, have you played them ever?
No, I was not suited up, I believe, last time we played.
So, really,
would have been
hard to fathom.
Years ago.
But which is the point?
Right.
This is not a team you play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How far in advance do you start looking at them?
Started last night. Watched a little bit of some preseason games, and then today we started on kind of putting a game plan together. And the coaches will have some stuff ready for us tonight and obviously tomorrow. So it starts now. This is kind of like we talked about, not really having a routine. Well, when this kind of that we're moving through a week like this, you just kind of have to find time to start that kind of game planning.
So Tuesday's normally your day off.
Tuesday is, yes.
Yeah. Well, is tomorrow a day off?
Yes.
Okay.
In a sense, yeah. But we've had 3, so it's kind of like, well, I'm going to make sure I do some extra homework probably tomorrow.
And what will that entail? Just taking the iPad home and watching more tape of them?
Yeah, do that. I'll probably come up here and do some treatment and make sure my body feels right. And then just make sure that I'm on top of everything. It can be kind of difficult to do some scouting early in the year with teams doing a lot of unscouted looks. But you try to make sure that you're prepared as possible.
That was going to be my question is, there's probably not enough film right after just one game. So how far back are you looking at preseason or are you looking at last year?
You go back. You'll do a little bit of preseason and then also last year. I think, yesterday Washington only ran 55 or 56 plays, so kind of a smaller sample size. But we'll use that as kind of a base and to understand of who they are and their, personality and who they want to be as a defense, and then just kind of go back and find things that this defensive coordinator likes to do.
And their head coach was the Rams defensive coordinator last year.
Yep.
So do you go back and look at Rams stuff from last year?
Yeah, you can. I don't. Everybody does it differently. We'll touch on it a little bit to make sure if we think it'll be a big part of the game plan, but ultimately we'll focus on things that we have from LA Chargers.
So, Danny, am I remembering correctly when we were talking to Blake last year, was archery a big part of the conversation?
I was hoping you were going to bring that up, Brad.
I was hoping we were going to save that because yes, it is, and I have lots of questions on it.
Fantastic,
honey.
I was looking at our show last year, and coincidentally, the day that you were on Cowboys Hour hunting.
Right.
Did you continue on that hobby? Is that still something you do?
Yes, I actually got a new bow. About a week and a half ago, yeah. So, because I bought that one off eBay, I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll kind of
the first one,
yes.
Okay.
And then this one I bought from Hoyt directly. So excited.
So now you're kind of like a semi-expert now.
I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm an expert. I got a lot of practicing to do, but I do enjoy it.
Well, you're a guy who took up bowling, but now you've got your own ball and shoes, right? I mean, you went right. You knew what you wanted in a bow.
Yep.
Like what was different? What do you need in a Blake Jarwin bow? And when, by the way, will there be a Blake Jarwin signature bow?
This is actually a Cameron Haynes bow. He's a famous bow hunter.
Can I just tell you one thing? He's not that famous.
He's in the bow hunting world.
Everybody who's ever heard of Cameron definitely counts, but you don't count. So.
It's been awesome. I just wanted kind of my first bow, like I said, the other one was off eBay, so I decided I'd go kind of step it up and have my first brand new bow.
Do you go with anyone on the team?
I've talked to Leighton about it a little bit.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, we haven't done any shooting or anything like that, but we've definitely talked about it.
Does he tell you that you have work to do before you're up to his level to be able to go hunting with him?
He doesn't have to tell me. I definitely know. I definitely know I have some work
So you're
to
not going to have like a Take on the Wolf Hunter as a nickname anytime soon?
Right, no, not even close.
Okay.
Well, what does he hunt?
We talked about him. I think he's going to do an elk hunt on the bye week. I think is kind of his plan right now. So he's kind of a big game hunter.
And what are you hunting?
I'll be mostly deer hunting because I'll be up in North Texas, Oklahoma area, and I guess he'll go back home and do the elk hunting.
That sounds like a big animal to me still.
Deer, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you tell us something about a really high quality bow that you look for when you went to find this bow that we wouldn't know? What would you
want to know honestly how I landed the bow that I have?
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't find another one that was long enough for my reach.
Your
So
massive wingspan.
I can get this one to 32 and a half on the pool, and so that's how I kind of landed with the Hoyt. I know there's two big brands, Hoyt and Matthews, and Matthews wouldn't make one that was long enough for me, so that's kind of how
They wouldn't.
I got there. I mean, I'm sure they might.
They wouldn't or they didn't?
I didn't really ask. I didn't really go into it.
Do they know who you are?
They may not care, honestly. They got a lot of guys who carry those Matthews.
Well, I think we're going to get them to care, and I think that Matthews, was that the company?
Matthews, yeah.
Okay, we'll be
in about a week, you're going to be sponsored.
We'll be making just a note of that, and you can expect to see Blake Jarwin doing TV ads for Matthews bows. I think that, he likes the idea, don't you?
I love that idea.
All right, we're going to go to work on that. We're going to put a
Pros use. Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today.
We'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and Omni Hotels and Resorts.
And welcome back to the Ford Center at the Star. Brad Sham and Danny Sarek and our special guest, Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin. We will go to your questions in just a moment. But Danny's not quite done grilling young Mr. Jarwin within an inch of his life.
I've got a really serious question for you. You guys were the Hard Knocks team this year. They're not here anymore.
Yes.
HBO, they were following you guys around all throughout training camp leading up to the start of the season. Mm-hmm. I know you watched an episode. Which episode did you watch, and I guess what stood out to you?
I think they were kind of focused on Azur and Isaac and kind of, their families, and that was pretty neat. I know Azur's mom got to come to the games and cheer him on, and I think that was so cool. And obviously Isaac, man, he's a great guy. to just kind of, see his family, understand them a little bit more, and see how proud they are of him was incredible. So it was really unique.
We didn't see a lot of major moments with you. Were you hiding from the cameras on purpose?
Yeah, there's, I wouldn't say I was hiding. I wasn't necessarily seeking the cameras out. But, there was, we were mic'd up for practice, and I guess they just didn't have fun enough stuff. I guess they didn't think we were entertaining enough to kind of put us on the big screen.
Now, here, some guys, look, you can't not know they're there. I mean, there's four of them standing around the huddle. There's a judging room.
Yes.
And there's nobody apparently there.
Right.
That there's a little red light up in the corner of the room, and some things get said that people don't know are being talked about.
They're pretty savvy with those little microphones, though, because they'll set it, like, right here on top of your head, so you don't see it until you say something. You're like, oh, man.
Yeah. But some guys.
Hope my mom doesn't hear that.
Exactly. But some guys are sharp enough to know when they are zeroing in on your area and might say, I'm not saying this happened. Some guys might say, let's zip it today because.
Yeah, we got some extra.
Did that happen?
Surveillance. Yeah, I think so. I think that having just extra cameras around kind of make you a little skittish, I guess. But no, I think overall, it was a great. We did a great job as a team, and just kind of didn't let it become a huge distraction to us.
Okay, let's take some questions from our audience at the Ford Center. Thanks.
Good evening, Blake. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, man?
Good, thank you.
Good.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
With Collins out and the shuffling of the offensive line, do you think that's going to take away opportunity from you and Dalton from getting the ball and more in a position to block Dak?
Obviously LC's a big part of our offense, and not having him around will definitely affect us a little bit. But we'll do a great job game planning and doing what's necessary to make sure that we keep Dak clean in the pocket. That kind of goes back to making sure that we don't necessarily need the ball in our hands to feel like we're helping the team. We want to make sure that if we give Dak time to throw the ball, or whether it's another guy in the run game that we got to make sure we take care of, just to make sure that we are successful on offense as a group.
Well, let's get right to this, Blake. Couldn't we solve this problem and get both of you on the field if Dalton just played right tackle?
I'm going to pitch that to him tomorrow.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Dalton, what do you think?
Yeah.
Make sure you let them know it was Brad's idea.
Yeah. I know what Dalton will think. Yeah, especially if Bosa lines up over him. Yeah.
Right.
I know what he'll think. Yes, sir.
Hey, Blake. My name is Corey.
Hey, Corey.
I was wondering, what's the biggest challenges or adjustments have you seen from college to the NFL? And one more quick question. What's your favorite route to run? I want to say it might be the seam route, but I could be wrong.
You're absolutely right. I love to run up the middle of the field. Too high, safeties, just take the middle and see where Dak puts the ball, because I know it'll be perfect and right on the money. But I'd say that's a great question. The biggest challenge is becoming a professional, I think. It's so much more than just on the field in the NFL. And that was a big part for me, is learning how to watch film and learning how to study opponents, and just learning the game of football a little bit more than I did in college.
Great question, Corey, and it makes me think, when he talked about you being in college, we'd be remiss if we did not get your – look at the look in his eye. He's kind of anticipating. He's anticipating.
I have no idea.
If we didn't ask you your thoughts about Oklahoma and Texas deciding they don't need to be in the Big 12 anymore.
Well, if you're talking about how I had a smile on my face when I saw the score of the Texas-Arkansas game. It is what it is. I'm glad the Big 12 is staying together. I saw that we just invited, I think, 4 other teams to kind of join the conference. So it's awesome. It's going to be definitely a different landscape. I've never seen a Big 12 without, those 2 teams, and obviously a lot of other people haven't either. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully we can keep Bedlam alive. I'm not sure how we'll make sure that happens, but hopefully so.
That was my next question, because when I'm a Missouri guy, they chose to go somewhere they don't belong, in my opinion, and broke up a 100-year rivalry with Kansas. A&M did the same thing with Texas. You can't run forever, apparently. Bedlam's a huge deal in college sports, not just in the state of Oklahoma. Basketball and football both.
Right.
What would it be? You're an Oklahoman. What would that be like if there was no more Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be tough. I think that a lot of people in Oklahoma find joy in that competition and, yelling at each other and, picking sides and just talking trash to each other all year long. So we'll kind of see how it plays out. It'll be interesting.
What a great non-answer.
Guess I'm sad about it.
Yeah, that was an almost perfect non-answer. That was really, really getting good at that. Yes, sir.
I know you love that.
Yeah, I do. I do so much.
Hey, Blake, it's Colby.
Hey, Colby.
Hey, biggest question is, what have you learned personally from just being in your professional career, from going from college ball to the NFL?
Yeah, I'd just say my biggest lesson is when I was a rookie, and obviously 82 was in the room. Jason Witten, watching him for about 6 months, just how he was a professional, how he went about his daily life, how he went about his life on the field, how he prepared to be on the field, how what he did off the field. Man, the guy would get here super early, and he'd be one of the last guys to ever leave this building. He loved the preparation like he loved the games on Sunday, and I think that's an important kind of note for me as I carry out my career.
Can you imagine what it would be like being a high school kid playing for him?
I was just thinking about that. I'm pretty sure they won their first game.
They did. Did you guys? I know some of your teammates
Zeke
went.
and Dak went to the first one, I know for sure. Yeah, I think they're 1-1 right now. So.
Oh, they lost a game.
Yeah, I think
well,
so.
the bandwagon's empty now.
Right now. That's an awesome experience, though, for Whit to go out there and coach high school ball, and hopefully I get to catch a game. That'd be great.
Seriously, what would it be like as you imagine it, for a high school kid to be exposed to the way you know he is?
Yeah, I try to put myself in those shoes, and that's, I don't know. I don't know how they'll handle it. I'm sure they're doing a great job, and I'm sure Whit's handling it really well. And, those kids are going to, get a coach that they should learn more from in a year than some players will learn from in, 12 years. So
I would like to think that one of the first things he did as a head coach was in the locker room, where you put something above the door frame and it says secrets in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's what I like to envision. I think that maybe
Probably
he did.
So, yeah.
That could that could be right. That could very well be right. Let me ask you one question about, because it's in our contracts. If we look in the bottom paragraph, every guest has to be asked a question about your quarterback. So he is, to me, one of the most unusual guys, and really remarkable the way he's done it. What does that transmit to his teammates?
Yeah, like you said, he's a natural-born leader. His presence is felt, whether he's in the building and especially when he's in that huddle with us all. And he's the guy who leads a team. And, man, I don't even remember your real question, Brad. I'm sorry. But
what's the way he comes back as a leader from all of that? How does that transmit to the rest of it?
There was never a doubt that he was going to come back and be a leader of his team, but I think that he showed even more so that he was going to lead this team. And, when he was rehabbing, the guy was out there when it was 100 degrees outside running as much as he could, just almost passing out because he was like, man, I got to be ready for these guys. And I think everybody saw that, and everybody respects him, obviously, and even more so now. The guy's just, man, he loves the work, he loves the grind, and he makes sure that he's working with us. He's not necessarily just telling us what to do. He's like, look, I'm gonna push myself with you guys.
We have exactly 1 minute left, and this is the time when I'm going to have to tell our audience that this is Danny's last show, because she just got a great job with the Arizona Cardinals. And so she is like...
I've already been emotionalized. She's ready behind me.
She's already packing and moving, and I just want to tell everyone what I have told her. I think Danny is a star. Okay, good. You're going to do just super, and I miss you already. And we're blessed to have had a chance to work with you. All the best.
You.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been really great to work with you guys.
All right. We'll see you in January. We'll see
2nd.
All of you next week. Thanks to Blake Jarwin for being with us. We'll see you next Monday on the Cowboys Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!